or we put or we put like, oh my gosh. I do like to add some salt no matter what. Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki, and today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys some different 2-ingredient dough pitas. If you enjoy this video or find it helpful, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And what we're going to be doing today is testing out some different flours for 2-ingredient dough. So if you guys have followed me for a little bit, or even just followed Weight Watchers, or just found higher protein options, 2-ingredient dough is a pretty well-known recipe. It is pretty much just flour and Greek yogurt combined to make a dough. So the way I like to make 2-ingredient dough is with 1 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour. I use 1 teaspoon of baking powder and then a cup of non-fat plain Greek yogurt. The Chobani brand is my favorite. That's what I'm going to be using today. But I get so many different questions about different substitutes and different options for 2-ingredient dough, and if you can use different flours. I've done one of these videos before. It was almost 2 years ago, or it might have even been longer at this point now, but I made a bunch of different 2-ingredient dough pitas using some different flours and just tried to test them out to see how they would be. And so today I've got some new flours that I'm going to be trying out. So I will link that video below. I think I did like almond flour and oat flour, and I think I did a gluten-free one in there, but today I'm going to be sharing some other ones. I do have a gluten-free one, but it's one that I just found at Walmart, so I just want to try a different brand that's supposed to be a 1-to-1 gluten-free flour replacement. So I'm going to be making a pita with this. Then I'm going to be making some pitas with this cake flour. So I thought this would be interesting to try for different 2-ingredient dough desserts. I like to make like cinnamon rolls and things like that. So I wanted to test this out and see if it'll be more fluffy and cake-like. And then the flour that I get asked about the most is whole wheat flour. So I'm going to be doing 2 different options this time. When I looked this one up, because I just did some research on the flours to make sure that I didn't have to switch up the recipes, which I have them written down in front of me with the points. So I'm going to go through that. But for the whole wheat, it recommends not doing more than 50% replacement with all-purpose flour. So I'm going to be doing one where I test out half all-purpose, half whole wheat flour. And then I'm going to do another where I do all of the whole wheat flour, but I'm going to add some water to help add a little bit of moisture back to it. And we're just going to test it out and see how it works, because who knows, maybe that would be a good cracker option or something. I just figured we'd try it out. So I'm going to have 4 different options that we're going to be testing. We're going to taste test them after I bake them and just compare them to the normal 2-ingredient dough pitas that we like to make. Usually when I make 2-ingredient dough pitas, the batch is 17 points and it makes 4 of them. So each pita usually comes out to 4 points on Weight Watchers. Using the cake flour, it'll be pretty much the same. And for all of these, I'm not making a full batch. I'll include the recipes below with the half batch and full batch. But today I'm just going to be making a half batch of the dough so that I can get 2 pitas for each flour. So we're going to have 8 pitas at the end of this, and we're just going to test them out that way. But for the cake flour, it's going to be 4 points a pita, so similar to the all-purpose flour. For the wheat flour, it'll be 3 points per pita when I do the entire whole wheat one, and then when I do the half all-purpose, half whole wheat, it'll still be 4 points, although the full batches are less. So like I said, it's usually 9 points for half a batch or 17 for a whole batch. With the whole wheat, with the all-purpose, it'll be 7 points for half a batch and 15 for a whole batch. So if I were to make pizza bakes, it'll be 7 points instead of 9, which is definitely less. And then the last flour is the gluten-free, which will be 3 points per pita. So it will actually be less than the regular all-purpose flour as well. It's 6 points for the half batch of it. So I'll include the information and the measurements that I'm going to be doing today in the description below, but we're going to go ahead and test these out after I'm done making them. For all of them, I'm pretty much going to be adding a half cup of non-fat plain Greek yogurt. And this is my favorite brand that I like to use, the Chobani non-fat plain. So I'm going to use a half cup of that, then 2/3 cup of whatever flour I'm using. Unless I'm doing the half whole wheat, half all-purpose, I'm going to do a 1/3 cup of this and a 1/3 cup of all-purpose. Then I'm going to add a half teaspoon of baking powder to each, because usually for the full batch I do 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And just to add a little bit of flavor, I do like to add some salt no matter what, but I'm also going to add just a little bit of onion salt, because we usually like to use these pitas for sandwiches or pizzas or tuna or chicken salad melts. So the onion salt will pretty much work well with whatever we do with them. I'm gonna go ahead and get these started. I'm just gonna do one at a time, and then I've got my baking sheets here with parchment paper that are labeled, so I'll keep them separated, and once they're done baking, we're gonna go ahead and try them. But I'm gonna go ahead and assemble all of these pitas now. While I was making the dough, I realized that it was pretty crumbly, so I decided to add an extra tablespoon of the non-fat Greek yogurt, and it helped it to form better into a dough. And it was actually a really nice consistency, and it made it even easier to flatten them out into pitas. The dough was a little bit sticky when I was trying to form it into pitas and flatten it out, so I did spray a little bit of non-stick olive oil spray on my hands just so that the dough didn't stick too much, and it made it much easier to form into pitas. I also do this sometimes with the regular 2-ingredient dough. When I make it, I have to spray my hands with some non-stick spray, but the only one I had to do that with today was the whole wheat flour. So I'm here with Adam now.
Hi.
The 2-ingredient dough pitas are done baking in the oven. So I preheated the oven to 400. I put them in for 10 minutes, flipped them, did another 10 minutes, flipped them again, and then did another about 5 minutes, and then they were done. So we're gonna go ahead and go through and try them all. They all turned out as pitas, so that's good news. The gluten-free flour definitely looks like it's like a weird texture, got that weird cracking consistency on it, but let's go ahead and cut it in half and see how it looks. It still has a good crispy crust, although the inside does look a little doughy. It doesn't look super doughy though. Honestly, This looks like a regular pita.
It does.
So when I was making it, I did have to add a little bit of extra Greek yogurt, but I think it still turned out like a good pita. Let's see how it is. Cheers. Strangely enough, it doesn't have a different texture. It just has a different flavor, kind of. I don't know what flavor it has that's different.
I can't like pinpoint it.
Like I feel like flour, all-purpose flour, just doesn't really have a flavor. And this has like a little bit of like a nuttiness to it, kind of. Is that a good way to describe it? But the texture's really good, actually.
Yeah, it is. I think it cooked perfectly, too.
Yeah. So that worked out really good. We're not like rating these or anything, but we're just trying them out to see how they turned out. And I would definitely say that's a good 1-to-1 replacement. Although, like I said, I added a little extra Greek yogurt. I don't know if that's just the specific brand that I used, but
I think that'd be good for like 2-ingredient dough pizzas. Honestly.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And that's the thing. We don't ever just like eat 2-ingredient dough plain like this. We put like tuna on it or chicken salad, or we put like pizza sauce and pepperoni cheese, make little pizzas and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
The next one we're going to try is the cake flour. So the reason I wanted to try cake flour is because I was hoping it would be a little bit more fluffy for like desserts and stuff. But I have to say this looks less fluffy than regular 2-ingredient dough that I make.
Yeah.
Yours actually looks better.
Mine does
Can I
look
show
better.
yours?
Yeah, show
well,
mine.
I'll do this actually, but you can see it really is pretty flat. And I just did a 1-to-1 ratio. And it did say that you are supposed to add a little extra flour. I think it said like add an extra tablespoon for ½ cup or something like that, which I didn't do because I didn't want to add any more points. So maybe that's why I did this, but let's just see how it tastes. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's definitely not as tough as 2-ingredient dough. It actually is fluffier.
It's a lot fluffier.
That's actually really good.
That tastes really good.
It's very similar to a regular 2-ingredient dough that we would make for like a pita, but I feel like sometimes that has a little more chew to it. And this actually is more fluffy.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe for desserts, just to like do the swap out because I don't know. That's interesting. I wasn't actually expecting it to be like that much fluffier.
I think that'd be good for pizzas too. I feel like it says about everything, but
definitely.
Yeah.
The next one we're trying is the half all-purpose flour, half whole wheat flour. Wow, that looks good. This definitely looks perfectly baked, actually. Like, that looks like a good, like, pizza crust dough or something.
Yeah.
It's pretty fluffy, like, when you squish it. And let's see how it tastes, though. Cheers.
Cheers.
That's really good. Mm-hmm. It actually has, like, a good different flavor to it I like.
Yeah, it has, like, that subtle wheat flavor. That's
good. That's really good. And it got, like, the perfect consistency. I'm honestly surprised at how fluffy it looks. That's really good. So that was with a 1/3 cup of all-purpose and a 1/3 cup of whole wheat. And I did end up adding just a half tablespoon of water to it, so that could have helped as well. But now let's go ahead and go to the last one. This is the full whole wheat flour, which it said not to do full 100%, but...
Why?
Because it can dry it out, so they recommend doing half all-purpose, half wheat, which is like what I did.
Yeah.
But what I did is I did full whole wheat, so I did 2/3 cup of whole wheat, the regular amount of non-fat Greek yogurt, and then I just added a tablespoon of water. So that's supposed to help to add a little bit of liquid to it, but honestly, it looks really good. I don't think it's as fluffy as the last one with the all-purpose flour, but still looks good, so let's see if it tastes much different. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, the texture is really not much different. I was gonna say, like, it's a little grainy in your mouth, like how whole wheat flour is, but honestly, it's good. It's like eating wheat bread.
These totally taste like store-bought
Yeah.
pitas. Like, that would be perfect. These are, like, perfect.
Yeah, these actually turned out really good, and I think that I'll start using the wheat flour. So, looking at points, it does make a difference. These are, like, the half batches. So, for the cake flour, it's 8 points for the half batch, 17 for the full batch. So, that's the same as all-purpose.
Yeah.
So, really, the cake flour didn't change the point value, but it worked the way it baked and everything. Yeah. Then, when it comes to the gluten-free, that was less. So, that's only 3 points for the pita, for a whole pita, versus 4 for a normal. Yeah. And then, when it comes to the whole wheat, the full whole wheat is 3 points, and then the half whole wheat, half flour is 4 points. Same as the regular all-purpose, and then this one is lower in points. But when it comes to the whole batch is only 11 points. So
the whole wheat?
Yeah, so if we did a pizza, it'd be 6 points versus when we make 2-ingredient dough, it's 9 points.
Yeah, that's
so it takes 3 points away from a pizza. And with, like, sauce and meat and cheese.
So good.
Okay, looks like we're trying that in my next video then.
Yes,
we're going to try it as a pizza.
Definitely.
Because I will definitely start using whole wheat flour, especially if you don't mind. I feel like
it tastes amazing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. I'm surprised you like it so much.
It's very good. I like whole wheat stuff.
Yeah.
That's right. Like, this tastes like a store-bought one, but, like, I don't know. It probably just came out of the oven, but it's
yeah,
like
that is true. After it sits, it might get a little bit more dense and tough, especially with the full whole wheat.
But we're not going to be sitting on them that much besides pitas, so.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we'll probably put tuna on them, chicken salad, stuff like that.
Good.
Well, I would say all 4 flours were successful, honestly, and they still remained a low point. Like, last time when we did it, I think the almond flour that I did was, like, much higher point.
Yeah.
Because you had to add more to make it a good consistency. But all of these, the texture is, like, perfect. I'm excited to eat these. Now we are stocked on pitas for the week. Anyway, I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is always interesting and fun for us. And if there's anything else you want to see us test out, let us know in the comments because we're always down to try new things. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.
Bye.